We learned about how monopolies are one example of how our perfectly competitive model doesn't work. But it's not the only way it doesn't work. There are many, many ways it doesn't work, and there are many, many classes you can take on that. But we are going to end our micro lessons with two very important examples of how our perfectly competitive model doesn't work. Public goods and externalities. We're going to start with externalities. And then we're going to go to public goods. So that's what we're going to do in this unit. So let's start with the concept of externalities. So when you learned about your demand curve and your supply curve and your theory of utility and your theory of production and your theory of costs, you had a bunch of underlying assumptions. Some of them were about how you didn't have monopolies. We've already dealt with that. I'm going to deal with a different set of assumptions for this unit. In particular, we assume that the benefit of consumption comes to the consumer and they pay for it. Conversely, the profits accrue to the producer and the costs of production are fully borne by the producer. They pay for it. So the efficiency assumptions in our model assume that consumers pay for and benefit from what they want, and producers gain profit from, pay costs for production. And that's done. But what if, so let's start with externalities. What if that doesn't work? What if my consumption of fossil fuels causes asthma to my neighbor? I'll give you an example. I'm Indian. City of Delhi is struggling with one of the world's worst levels of pollution. And what has been even worse than the already toxic levels of pollution has been the festival of Diwali. I'm Indian. I love Diwali. I grew up with it. We love it. We have our firecrackers. We have our family. We do this. But here's what you want to know. The level of pollution generated by my firecrackers is so bad that doctors tell me little children will die of asthma. They will not live as long as I do. Their life expectancy will be cut because I wanted to burst firecrackers. This is an externality where the cost of my actions are not paid by me. They are paid by someone else. So when I think of a market, I like to think that the price mechanism captures benefits and costs on all sides in a perfectly competitive, but it doesn't. we have externalities. Costs that are paid by other people. But interestingly also benefits that might accrue to other people. So let's think of externalities in 4 ways. Externalities plus, minus for consumers, and externalities plus, minus on producers, and how to integrate them.